In today's podcast, we will be talking to two students that did IB program. They will tell us how was the studying in IB program and how did it help them in the medical school. So I would like to welcome you today. We have two students from first and second year, and we're going to be talking about IB programs. More information about the IB programs and how to get to the faculty will be on the website. And I would like to welcome Cristina and Tereza to today's podcast. Could you tell us shortly about yourself? We can start with the lady here.
So I'm Tereza, I'm first year student, and I'm from Slovakia, but I studied the IB program in the UK. So I went to a boarding school basically.
All right.
I'm Krishna, I'm in second year. I'm actually from India, but I did the IB program in Bulgaria because I actually lived there for 2 years. So my dad was like, why not IB? So I just went into it.
Okay, that's interesting. So I'm not the generation of IB, or I haven't been to an IB school. So could you tell us just shortly what it is and what it includes?
It stands for International Baccalaureate. So it's studied usually in different countries. And there are 6 groups of subjects that we have to choose from. So everybody has to do maths, everybody has to do 2 languages. So for me, it was English literature and language, and also Spanish. And then there is a group of sciences. And what else is there?
Overall there's you can take a maximum of 6 subjects.
Okay.
But additionally, you can take an extra one as well. And as she mentioned, there's 6 groups, and usually people take one subject from each group.
I see.
And actually there's levels to each subject. So there's standard level and there's high level. And I think the limit is you take 3 standard levels and 3 high levels. And the high levels obviously are more complex and the standard levels are more simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you took what kind of courses when you were in the
So for standard level, I took English, French, and math.
Okay.
And for high level, I actually took 2 sciences. I took biology, chemistry, and business.
I see.
I also had biology and chemistry on higher level, and I also had psychology.
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't do physics. Did you do physics?
I actually took an extra subject.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had also physics.
Yeah, so I had 4 standards.
That's a smart move. I didn't take physics either.
Yeah, physics was a bit tricky.
Yeah, and maths, you said you also did? Or
It was on standard level. Everybody has to do maths in IB basically.
I see. Yeah.
Okay. Did you consider these high-level courses, would you said hard, really demanding? Would you say that, if you, for instance, compare the classes here for, I don't know, physics or something, is it sufficient for the studying in medicine? Or maybe to put it better, did it prepare you for this med school, the courses that you did?
I would say the key difference between IB and medicine is there's lesser concepts in IB, but it's more of application.
Okay.
So, but in medicine, I would say there's more of concepts, but also there's a lot of application. It's just this memorization. But in IB, there's this different where you apply the concepts that you use more than you memorize in the IB. So it kind of trains you in that aspect.
But I would say it prepares you for medical school enough. You have the basics.
Yeah.
So for example, I feel we have the subject cell here in first year, and I remember most of the things I already knew from biology. So it was only details that I needed to study for. So I feel
So I think that is a bit of a not privilege, but a advantage in this, that you already have the general knowledge, which is kind of expected. I feel even from the people that don't do IB. So let's shortly talk about the structure of we kind of already touched on the subjects.
Yeah.
So you said it's 3 years or
2 years?
2 years. 2 years. And how is it then structured?
So as we mentioned earlier, we have 6 subjects, and each subject, a maximum of points you can get is 7.
Okay.
So totally, it's actually 45. Okay. So a total of 42 you get from the subjects.
I see.
And you have something called bonus points, which are the 3 points. So the bonus points comprises of...
So it's the TOK, the theory of knowledge, where we basically write essays, and it's very philosophical, I would say.
Yeah.
And then the other part is the extended essay, that you choose one subject that you're going to write it in, and you have to write the 4,000 essay on.
Yeah.
And for example, for me, it was psychology, and you just choose a topic, you research, you have to reference it well, so it prepares you for medical school. And yeah, so those are the 3 points, and they're marked, I think they're both externally.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get the 3 points basically combined by 2 grades that you get.
Yeah. So you get 1 or 2 or 3 points, but it's all together. So if you get an A in TOK and a B in the extended essay, you get 3 points. But if you get a C in one and B, you get 2 points. Like that. So they're together.
Also, I see. And the IB programs can be done all around the world, I assume, right?
Yeah. I think it's one of the internationally recognized with A-levels.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so it's usually in the countries, it's like either you go to a high school or you go to an IB program, or is it somehow usually combined, or you don't really know how it works?
And well, I went to the UK for the boarding school, and there is a lot of the schools that they do either A-levels or they do IB. And then in Slovakia, I think there are only like 2 schools that do IB program. And it's basically, instead of doing the Slovak normal maturita, you do the IB, or then you can do both, as I did, because I didn't have Slovak language. That's why I did the Slovak diploma also, because I wanted to like prove that I know Slovak. That was the only reason I did it. But if you do it in Slovakia, you also can do Slovak language. So you don't need to do the Slovak diploma anymore.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you say that the IB program is like crucial for getting into the med school? Would you say that like it is important? Would you say that you would have survived without it as well, or?
I would say honestly, it's definitely a bit easier for us when we approach the concepts, especially in second year. I feel like in first year it's a lot more memorization than application. But when you come to second year to like physiology and biochemistry, it's more of application. And I feel like IB really helps in that aspect, how you can like apply the concept that you learned and like trying to understand how it works as a whole, the body.
I would also say like I did also the Slovak high school, so I did the Maturita original one. And if I compare the way I had to study for IB and the way I studied for my Slovak diploma, I think it was completely different. Okay. For the Slovak one, I had to memorize a lot. But for the IB, it's like you need to explain your thinking, which I think in medicine is quite nice to know. Yeah. And also in IB, you have additional subjects that we didn't mention, like TOK, which is theory of knowledge. And it's basically like you need to, again, explain a lot. And also you write a lot of essays. Like we have an extended essay in IB that you need to write 4,000 words. And you're graded on that. Okay. And I think like it prepares you in different ways. And also there is the CAS program, which is Creativity Activity Service. So it gives you like time management skills, which for medicine I feel like is very important.
And absolutely, that's true. So you have a lot of like oral exams as well, or is it only okay?
Depends on the subjects, basically.
Yeah, the thing is like how a subject is structured is we obviously have the final exams in the end. But before that, you have a bunch of projects and something called the internal assessment that you do. And for example, in English, when I took English in standard level, I had to write an oral about like one specific topic, and I had to relate 2 different works, and I had to talk about it. Okay. So there's obviously a lot of oral exams, and it does prepare you to think on the spot.
Yeah, and it is like it's gonna get progressively more of oral exams in the future, like for you. So I think it's great because a lot of students come here kind of without any experience of oral exams. For instance, I was never taught in that way. We had a lot of written exams. So before you even learn how to represent yourself or, you know, present some topic, it is really tough. So it sounds like this is a great preparation for students to go through that. Let's talk about more your studies right now. So you're in the first year finishing. How has it been the first year? Is it
stressful?
Stressful. Okay, that's a very common answer. Okay,
but I feel like if I compare it to my classmates, a lot of them struggled in the beginning, which I did not actually. Okay. So I feel like maybe that's because of IB that I had to like constantly study during IB. That it wasn't like we had one test during the year that I only studied for. So it was very similar to the approach we have here during the anatomy tests, that it was like every week. So I was used to studying regularly, which I think helped me a lot.
So you have kind of the discipline already before you come here. See, and for you, like how would you say that the now you're already end of second year, but maybe if you go back to like the first year, so we can like...
Yeah, in first year, I agree with her. It does give you like the upper hand compared to like the students who haven't done IB. You can see like there's like the better time management skills and so
Yeah.
on. And also I would like to add, we were made to write essays in first year of med school.
Oh,
and I feel like IB helped a lot in that, because I remember my friends were like, oh my God, it's taking so long to write it. But for us, like, it doesn't take that long, because in the IB, all we do is write essays and we take sources and everything. So we got prepared for that.
Yeah, like
that
the
aspect.
referencing essays.
Yeah.
It was a big thing for my classmates. They didn't know how to do it.
I think that's something completely different that we didn't have this in the first year at all. So that sounds like something has changed definitely in the first year. So would you say that the IB program, like, obviously, I don't know if you have friends, you did also the high school, so you kind of know, but for you, do you know, like, would you say it's like harder, the high school versus the IB program? Do you know, can you compare it to?
I would say, so for example, in India, if you look at the government, like the board, the normal board that they do in India, it's more towards the memorization aspect.
Okay.
So IB is more towards the application aspect. I don't know how to actually compare it, because they're like completely paralleled. But I would say these boards, like each of the boards help in different aspects. But I would say, holistically speaking, in terms of life and life, IB helps a lot, because it helps you with time management, builds discipline.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And what about anatomy? Because that's like a big part of the first year. Would you say, because that's memorizing mainly, right? Yeah. But obviously you can put things together and try to make it. So would you say that it was harder for you? Because like what I now understood, the IB is more like the logical thinking and more like putting things together. Would you say that it was harder than memorizing?
I don't think so, because you still needed to memorize.
Yeah.
So it's not like you could only,
like
it's not like you were just making up answers. So like you still needed to know all the information, and then it was more like combination of the questions. So I feel like we're prepared well with IB.
Okay.
I don't know if it's because also I did the Slovak diploma that I maybe like completely mixing.
You're double.
Yeah, but I was not focusing on the Slovak one. It was just for me to like have it in case.
Okay.
So it's not like I was going for all A's and everything. So I was focusing on my IB, and then basically I had 3 days to study for the Slovak one.
Oh, wow.
So I just went there.
So you're very well prepared for the medical school with the top schedule and everything. What subject did you consider the hardest? Like for you, it's already 2 years, so you can kind of reflect back as well. Yeah. But in the first year?
I think everybody would say anatomy.
That's kind of, we had another opinion in the previous one. It's biophysics. So
I love that.
Yeah, okay.
Because I maybe because I did in the physics in my high school, like for the 2 years.
Okay.
So I studied only physics for the entrance exams. So when I came here, it was for me it was application basically of knowledge.
Yeah.
Because even the final was writing essays, which I like.
Yeah.
And we were prepared from IB for writing essays.
Okay.
So I did not mind it.
Okay.
And I would like to add, for the biophysics subject, I was very surprised when I came and I saw biophysics. It was a lot similar to what we learned in the IB.
Okay.
So I had like a huge jump start compared to others in first year when I was doing biophysics. So I would say it gives you a huge jump start, the IB, when you come to med school.
Also, now that I'm thinking of, because you still did the entrance exam, both of you, right?
Yeah.
So would you say that it was also an advantage, the IB, that for even the entrance exams? Yeah.
Because I feel like it covers every aspect of high school.
So
you're full in without any problems? No.
I mean,
for me, it was like I didn't know I wanted to go to medicine.
Okay. Oh,
so I actually got in to do biomedical sciences in the UK.
Okay.
And I decided during summer that I want to do medicine. So I did my entrance exams in London, not here. And I didn't have time to study for them. Okay. So I went there with my IB knowledge. And it worked out. So I only studied physics because I didn't have it. So I think that is. Yeah.
Would you say it was a good choice going to medicine? Yeah, perfect. No other answers are accepted. And for you, the same feeling that the entrance exams
definitely.
were?
IB was more than sufficient. For even like, especially since I did physics as well. So it covered all aspects as well. So bio, chem, and physics.
Okay.
So.
What are you most excited about the future years? Like in the future, like what are you excited to go through?
I would say the city. I love the city.
Okay.
I know it's like academic, but from the academic side, I would say the practical years. Like I want to go and like see patients and
Definitely.
Like the hands-on actually experience.
Yeah.
Okay, you have the same feeling. Yeah, I think that's probably in the first 3 years like the opinion, and then you get there and you're like, oh, okay, it was quite nice to sit at home and study these things instead of doing them. Okay, that's good. Any advice you would give to the students that are applying either through the entrance exams or like through the IB program? Any like last minute things to tell them before their exams? I think some of the exams were already, but those who are still gonna do some. Anything that you did before your entrance exams? Some things.
I would say focus on the parts you know that you haven't studied like in your high school. So for me, it was physics. I knew I would do very badly if I didn't study for that. And I knew I had some knowledge from biology and chemistry. So if you know that you're lacking in one way, just focus on that thing. But if it's too late and you don't have time to study it properly, just focus on the things you know and try to like make it perfect. So you can like ace at least one part of the test. You don't need to do well in all of them.
Okay, you're just like
I mean, she's saying everything, so I don't know what else to say. I mean, like the IB preps you for a bit every part of the entrance exam, not just the written, but also you have the oral part, right? So it also helps you with that because I think it's more humanitarian, the oral part, if I remember correctly. So it's gonna be fine.
Perfect. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking your time in the middle of all of the studying and everything. I hope you all best of luck that you're gonna manage. I'm pretty sure you will do. And have a nice summer. Thank you everyone for coming today and listening to us.